1, 2, 3.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. This is our weekly program featuring everything that is coming up in the area's music, arts, and entertainment scene. We will interview local artists, authors, musicians, and even some nationally recognized names who may be performing here in our area. We will have movie reviews and film suggestions from the real dad, Mark Schumann, and etiquette tips from Catherine Michaels. This is your all-access pass, and here are your hosts, Arts and Leisure editor Sally Sanders and our entertainment reporter Steve Coulter.
Welcome to Arts and Leisure on the HAN Network. I'm your host, Steve Coulter. I'm joined here by my co-host, Sally Sanders.
Good afternoon.
Sally, last week we talked a little bit about movies that deal with journalism. Spotlight has been limited release. It's coming wide release next week. And we also have Truth out in theaters with Robert Redford. Mark, our real dad, is not here with us today, but he's got a film review, I believe, in
He did
A&L.
his Real Dad column this week on Truth and gave a lot of credit to Kate Blanchett for carrying that film.
And now a local guy, Topher Grace from Darien, is also in Truth.
Yes, and our editor at Darien, Susan Schultz, has a nice feature story about him. You can find it at DarienTimes.com, and you can also find Mark's review at arts.hersamacorn.com.
And those two movies are just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, in this fall movie season. There's so many good films that are coming out in this next 6 to 8 weeks that it's almost like overload. I was just talking to Rose Sayers earlier today, and it was like you have to go to the theater 2 or 3 times a week in order to catch everything that you want to see.
To keep up, yeah.
So what's at the top of your list of the movies that are coming out?
Well, the one that just came out, Brooklyn, is the one that I haven't seen yet, but I'm really looking forward to seeing.
With Saoirse Ronan?
Yes, with Saoirse Ronan. I just like the time period of it, and she's such a compelling actress. She has such a kind of a strength, and yet I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but the clips I've seen of the film, it just makes it look very appealing. And of course, Brooklyn in that era is entirely different from the hipster place that it is now.
It's changed a lot over the years, hasn't it? And Domhnall Gleeson is in it as well. He's, I think, one of her lovers in Ireland.
He's the Irish, he's the Irish connection,
And he's got an array of movies out this year. He was in Ex Machina earlier this year. Now he's in Brooklyn, which could contend for Best Picture. And then he's also in Star Wars later this year. So it's it's a very good year for him.
So you've already got Brooklyn on your list of contenders for Best Picture?
Brooklyn I have slotted right now actually at 8.
At 8.
I think it's going to be 8 or 9 in the Best Picture category this year. I think The Martian is the kind of dark horse to slip in at 9. You saw a few years ago District 9 was a sci-fi movie that got in a Best Picture nomination. I think The Martian can play that angle as well. We've talked about it a few times that the sci-fi movies have actually been pretty successful in this new model of 10 Best Picture nominees.
That's true.
And I think The Martian stands out from what I've seen so far. Also coming out, though, sci-fi is, of course, Star Wars. That's the top of my list. I think it's the top of everyone's list.
I think so, sure.
In terms of going independent, though, there's a lot of also other good movies. I believe you have a recommendation with Bryan Cranston that's coming out.
Yeah, Trumbo, which is based on the story of Dalton Trumbo, who was one of the Hollywood 10, the blacklisted writers during the communist scare in the 50s. And anything Bryan Cranston does
he's
is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to see how they handle that.
And you know Hollywood loves movies about movies.
Yeah.
We've had 3 of the last 4 Best Picture winners have been movies that have been about the industry, and this is certainly about the industry.
Well, and he wrote some amazing films. He did
absolutely.
both Spartacus and Exodus in 1 year.
Oh my goodness.
That was when he finally got back to getting his name on the credits.
Right after they had blacklisted him.
Yeah. Before that, he was writing like crazy, but under various people's names.
And I think his daughter's played by Elle Fanning, who's Dakota's little sister. So,
yes.
So there's a little bit of father-daughter element in it, similar to what we've seen with Steve Jobs earlier this year. So a biopic with father-daughter kind of element to it.
So what else are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, Quentin Tarantino has a movie coming out called The Hateful Eight, so I can't skip over that one. Tarantino's a personal favorite of mine.
Who's in it?
We've got Kurt Russell, Samuel L. Jackson.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Oh boy, bringing him out.
Yeah. Tim Roth is going to be in it. Bruce Dern is going to be in it. So it's a pretty loaded cast. It's very good.
Sort of reminds me of Silverado with older people.
Yeah. And I mean, the whole idea of him doing another kind of Western type movie after Django, it seems like it's going to be a good one to watch over Christmas. But I think the top of my charts, other than Star Wars, has to be The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. in the Alejandro film that's coming out. Yeah, you can see the image here on our screen. That one looks great. He's playing Hugh Glass, frontiersman in the 1820s. This was shot on location, I believe, in Argentina.
Wow.
And they only could shoot 4 hours in a day. So I'm very excited about that one. It's going to be 2 hours and 30 minutes long. So it's
beautiful.
Yeah, it's kind of a throwback to the older, longer movies that are shot on location rather than shot in a studio.
Or with CGI or whatever. Yeah.
It's interesting kind of pairing that with Star Wars because it's like is obviously very, very technical. And they're both very technical, but in a different sense.
Well, I was looking for something goofy, too, for the
what
holidays.
What did you find?
Well, Sisters is the one that I think should be fun. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler together, always good. And this is kind of one of those grown-ups go back to high school.
There's always plenty of those this time of year.
This is two sisters coming back to clean out their room before their parents sell their house, which is always a kind of a fraught time for people. And
all sorts of nostalgia.
And you know it's going to be funny and gross and just really fine.
And the other Christmas pick I have, all of mine I feel like are on Christmas. I'm going to be waiting for a while. The Big Short. Do you know who's in that one?
No, who?
Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling, Brad Pitt, and Steve Carell.
Can't beat it.
Yeah, it's one of the most loaded casts I know, and it's based on the Michael Lewis book, which is phenomenal. He's one of my favorite writers, so I'm looking forward to that one. I think that's the top of my list. The Revenant, The Big Short, and
Are you
Hateful
looking
Eight.
forward to the Pitt Jolie effort that's just about to come
no,
out?
I don't think so. I think that one looks a little too corny for my liking.
It looks pretty depressing,
Yeah.
really. And I wonder about, it is kind of a vanity project.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like she's just doing it for herself, more or less. So we'll see, though. I'm not going to write it off completely just yet.
So any others you want to bring up before we...
Oh, absolutely. Youth, the Paulo Sorrentino film that's going to come out at the end of the month with Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel. That's going to be great.
Ooh,
Tell me about it. I couldn't pull up an image for the show because the poster is of the backside of a woman. So yeah,
okay.
We couldn't do that on this show, but it's going to be really good. And he's fresh off of winning the best foreign film in 2013 with The Great Beauty. So I thought that was a really good film, and I'm looking forward to seeing his next movie with Michael Caine and Harvey Keitel.
The other one more that I wanted to mention is Janice, Little Girl Blue, which is a
hey,
documentary.
We got one. We got an image.
Oh, there they are.
It's PG-13 there. Good work, Eric.
Look at them. There's a new documentary coming out about Janis Joplin.
Oh, I did see that.
Which sounds very good and has a fair amount of performance footage, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting they've never done anything
It's a sad
on Janis.
story. It's such a sad story. She had so much potential.
Oh, so much talent.
Yeah.
It's interesting because they had that horrible biopic, The Doors.
Yeah.
And I feel like that probably scared someone off of doing a similar type movie with Janis Joplin because The Doors was so bad about Jim Morrison. Also, there's plenty to watch. If you're not going to the theater, there's plenty of fall TV. What have you been watching on TV at home?
I've actually been watching British dramas on my Roku, but you're going to convince me today why I should resume watching Fargo. I started it. I loved it last year. I found the second episode of the season just more not gross, but distressing.
It's the fifth episode opens up with just an absolute slaughtering out in the woods, and it's just so well done.
Well, there was an absolute slaughtering in the first episode.
I was going to say, there's a lot of bloodshed in Fargo. You see blood on the snow all the time. But they dub it over Ronald Reagan's speech from 1979 when he's touring in Minnesota. And so he's giving the speech while this slaughtering is happening. And this is just the first frame of the episode. It's just an hour of just great television. It's the best episode of TV I've seen all year, the fifth episode of Fargo. I couldn't recommend it to enough people.
The actors in the show are great.
Oh, the best. Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons are doing just a phenomenal job.
Yeah, and Ted Danson just is very smooth in there
perfect.
As in his role.
I've really
and there are
enjoyed him.
characters whose actors I didn't even know their names, but you just go, wow, where did they find these guys? They're great.
Yeah, they're great. And then Dodd as Jeffrey Donovan. He's been phenomenal too.
Yeah.
It's been such a good season, and I can't recommend it again to enough people. Some other picks, The Nick with Clive Owen, the Steven Soderbergh project that's on Cinemax. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
And that's about a hospital?
Yeah, at the turn of the century, 1900s. There's the photo. I'm not going to give away too much, but he's just a maniac, basically. He's pushing modern medicine
well,
to the brink.
You can see Hands of
Yeah.
God there, kind of.
Oh yeah, big time. And the whole theater aspect of it, where people are watching him perform these.
That's how it was.
Yeah, exactly. I had no idea. It's a very informative show, and if you're into that kind of turn of the century type drama, I haven't seen.
And that's on what?
It's on Cinemax, actually.
Cinemax,
yeah,
okay.
It's hard to find, but it's definitely, if you can find it, I'd recommend it. It's probably the best shot TV show right now in terms of the camera. Soderbergh is just flying around all sorts of different angles. Aerial, he's going low, he's going high. It keeps you awake. Let's say that much.
Good.
We're going to head off to a commercial break. When we come back, we've got Lawrence Queso coming on from the Klein. They're celebrating their 75th anniversary this
Big weekend,
on Saturday at 8 p.m. We'll be right back after the break.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
In Pound Ridge since 1993, the Wine Connection is one of America's best wine shops. Visit our beautiful store for the greatest in wine and knowledgeable service. With wonderful values from around the world to collectibles for your cellar, we are your one-stop source. Visit our online shop at wineconn.com and make sure to sign up for email updates. With great offers, new arrivals, and special events, don't miss all the action at The Wine Connection, including tastings every weekend. The Wine Connection, located at 32 Westchester Avenue, Pound Ridge, New York.
Do you do a lot of running around but get nowhere when you're buying a car? Visit Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram for the one-stop buying experience and stop spinning your wheels.
Back to school means back to busy, and Stewart's Market can save you precious time by stocking all of your favorite essentials under one roof. For a healthy start to school, we have all the ingredients. Walter Stewart's, your family-owned fresh local market, 229 Elm Street and at stewartsmarket.com. This fall for our red panda. That's right. Rashawn the red panda will be visiting the Beardsley Zoo for a limited time. Resembling raccoons, red pandas primarily eat bamboo, but will occasionally eat fruits, berries, young leaves, and certain tree bark, like their better-known black and white cousins. As an adult, Rashawn is expected to weigh 10 to 12 pounds, and you can see him at the South American Rainforest exhibit, Connecticut's Beardsley Zoo of Bridgeport. A whole new experience. 875 Noble Avenue, Bridgeport. 203-394-6565.
Welcome back to Arts and Leisure. As promised, Sally and I are joined by Lawrence Queso. How are you doing today?
Great, Steve. Thanks
and
for
I'm
having
sure
me.
48 hours to go into the big show. You a little nervous at all, or are you just kind of working out the final details?
I'm just exhilarated.
Yeah.
It's exciting to put all this together and see everybody come and do their part. We're rehearsing each night, and it's really coming together beautifully.
Now, how does it work exactly? How much stage time does... I know there's like 8 or 9 different groups coming on, and Paul Schaefer's the MC, for those who don't know.
Right. That's a full 2-hour show.
Yeah.
And so with all those performing groups, we've got everybody taking their own segment. Some of them run 15 minutes, some of them are 5. And then they all come together at the end of the show for one big finale.
Wow.
So there's going to be a lot of shuffling backstage, I'm sure.
Oh, there is. The finale has probably 300 people on
goodness.
stage. And we have to get them all on quietly. And,
behind a curtain. And then
that must be quite the recital, like doing it in practice.
Well, our director, Maureen Hamill, has it down to a science. And she's been great. She's got them all making their entrances and exits and taking shoes off and tiptoeing. And it'll be great. I can't wait.
Well, you have children's choir, the Fairfield County Children's Choir.
Yes, we do.
And
ballet and the Great
the New England Ballet doing a pas de deux. and we've got the Greater Bridgeport Symphony and the Greater Bridgeport Youth Orchestras. And then we have our 60 students from after school at the Klein. This is an after-school program that we've been running now for 3 years. And we have 60 students coming 3 days a week for instruction, tuition-free.
And this is a musical performance?
They learn music, dance, drama, and acting for the camera.
Wow, it's like going to Arts High School.
It is. And so they're going to do the opening number.
Oh, very cool.
Can you tell us what it's
a little
about,
preview of the opening number?
It is a song from Pippin.
Oh, okay.
It is.
That'll be a lot of fun.
It will be fun. They've been rehearsing great, and it's.
And what's the age range of the
we
ASK?
take 6th graders through 12th.
So these are some polished performers then. These are kids who are.
Well, some of the kids now have been in all 3 years, and they've really come along. And the dancing is outstanding, and the singing as well. In spring, in June, we had 8 of our dancers compete in amateur night at the Apollo Theater in Harlem.
That's awesome.
Which is a very rare treat.
Yeah, I was going to say
the same
Apollo
program that discovered Ella Fitzgerald.
Wow.
And so they did that in June, and we had a whole contingent from Bridgeport. I think we had 92 people come down and support them from Bridgeport.
Excellent.
That is too cool.
And it was. Great experience for them.
So what are some of the other surprises on Saturday night?
I can't reveal all of them. But no, we have some special drop-ins. During the Fairfield County Children's Choir performance, it is, because this is Veterans Day week, we are honoring the veterans with a Civil War medley. And alongside them, while they're singing, Mayor Finch is going to recite the Gettysburg Address.
Oh, wow, that'll be really cool.
I think that'll be a real highlight.
It'll be moving, yeah.
That's a nice touch. How does this compare to other anniversary shows that you've done in the past? And just for those at home who are watching, how long has this taken? How long have you been working towards this day?
We conceived of this show about a year ago.
And so it's been a year-long prog.
Yes, we picked the date a year ago, put it on the calendar, and really got buy-in from all the organizations to participate about 6 or 7 months ago. And it's been steady work since then. So it's a lot of work, made easy because of the tremendous cooperation we've gotten from everybody. Everybody's enthusiastic to participate in this. And so that's helped a lot. But logistically, it's big in terms of other anniversary shows I've done. I did the 35th anniversary show of As the World Turns on television, which was a major undertaking. But this is right up there.
And now the Klein stage has hosted so many great artists and performers over the years. Are you going to have a slideshow at all that kind of pays homage to that?
Well, we have up on screen, we have 2 screens on either side of the stage. And up on that, you will see during certain moments different shots from performances, past performances of each of these groups, as well as some of the dignitaries who have appeared at the Klein through the years. Example, Eleanor Roosevelt, who was there in 1953.
Wow.
And by the way, Eleanor of a Sort is making a return engagement on May 1st because we're presenting a one-woman drama starring Loretta Swit from MASH as Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh,
that'll be cool.
Good.
That's
Great
next spring.
play. It's beautifully written and researched. It's a drama, and it's all one-woman performance, and she's dynamite in it. So.
The Klein has seen so many performers over the 75 years, and for people who don't know, it was built as part of the Works Progress Administration, or
No, it wasn't. It truly was a gift from one philanthropist.
One person
Jacob
paid for it all?
Klein was a lawyer and philanthropist in Bridgeport, and he wanted to give the city a gift. He wanted a performing center that would really draw families to make it very accessible entertainment. There are 2 old theaters in Bridgeport, the Poli and the Majestic,
which
were built in the 20s, and they are huge. They've been closed for decades, but they were huge, 2,600 and 3,500. Ours is just under 1,500, and that way it's a little bit more intimate, but at the same time it's a Broadway-sized stage. And yes, it's had great performances. Just the last couple of months, we had a tango show from South America. We had Wynton Marsalis and the Lincoln Center Jazz Orchestra last Thursday. It just goes on and on.
And the Fairfield Theater Company has done some programming there, but
Fairfield Theater Company, who we are also in a video having tribute to, because they've done, they've done just over 100 concerts in the last 7 years at the Klein. And they've brought about 100,000 patrons through those concerts to Bridgeport, to the Klein.
good.
That's a great partnership.
It is. They are a very treasured client and renter and partner for us.
We talked a little bit about the stage direction. Is it going to be musical acts after musical acts, or are you going to kind of switch it up with music and then dance and
It's
then theater?
switched. You've got it's music, dance.
So it keeps you on your feet a little bit
It
if you're in the audience.
It's every form of music you can think of. It's whether the All-Star Kids are going to do a rap tribute to Bridgeport. The New England Ballet dances to music. The symphony and the youth orchestras are doing symphonic music. So it's everything.
Well,
It's
it's
a
really
complete
good
show.
for Bridgeport to continue the upswing there, and the cultural activities are. The Bridgeport Art Trail is the same weekend, and I think you're one of the features on the art trail.
We are, both with this concert for Saturday night, which I hope everybody who comes to the art trail will want to participate and stay around for Saturday night for this. And then on Sunday afternoon, we have a photo exhibit.
That's right.
Former Connecticut Post photographer Ed Brinsko, who was a photographer there for 43 years. We have that exhibit on stage, and Mike Daly from the Connecticut Post is going to narrate a sequence for that.
So it's a weekend-long celebration of the Klein.
Very much so.
At 75 years.
We love Bridgeport. We want to play an active role in helping to bring people there to take advantage of what's there, because in a lot of cases, it's unknown. And yet the discoveries that you can make there are tremendous.
The location is wonderful. The mass transit is easy. It's
very convenient.
Got a lot going for it.
We're right near some wonderful downtown restaurants. They're actually within walking distance. Little Asia's right behind us, a block and a half, with some great Vietnamese restaurants. It's really building and growing, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
Good.
Are there tickets left for people to buy? Or?
There are.
All right.
Absolutely. You can call our box office. You can also go right online and order them right up at theklein.org.
And the number is 800-424-0160. Is that right?
That's right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for coming in. We really appreciate it, and good luck this weekend with the 70th anniversary at the Klein.
Thank you so much, Steve.
We're going to be right back after this commercial break. We're going to be talking to Andy Gundell of the Helium Brothers.
While the temperatures are cooling down, the fall bite is heating up. Albies, bonita, blackfish, alligator blues, and stripers are following the large schools of bait that are abundant in the Long Island Sound. If you love the New England coast during autumn, this is the time to be on the water. The latest from Shimano, Quantum, Avet, Hoagie, Phase 2, and more are in stock and ready to go at the dock shop. And don't mind those fall breezes with jackets, hats, gloves, and fleece from Grundon's and Stormer. The dock shop will keep you warm and dry. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The dock shop, now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com.
Find over 1,000 special stories at Hospital for Special Surgery. Go to hss.edu/backinthegame.
I was jogging 5 months after my cartilage tear.
Skiing a year after hip surgery.
And playing grandma 4 weeks after hip replacement.
One special hospital, 1,000 special stories. See Connecticut patients at hss.edu/CT.
Right. Have no fear. Hersom Acorn's Fast Frights movie contest is here. Visit fastfrights.com for more details. The only thing to fear is missing the deadline.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. 102,000 viewers have enjoyed the HAN Network in just the last 6 weeks. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to Arts and Leisure. As promised, we've got Andy Gundell with us from the Helium Brothers, the hot bluegrass band that's playing Saturday night in Westport at the is it Unity or Voices Cafe?
Yeah, at the Unitarian Church.
Correct. Yes.
10 Lions Plain Road.
That's correct too. Right off exit 42 in Westport.
And for those who are unfamiliar with the Helium Brothers and hot bluegrass, kind of talk a little bit about your sound and members of your band.
Sure. Well, we're a little bit of a hybrid bluegrass band in that we combine bluegrass with some country rock, a little jazzy swing, and some singer-songwriter acoustic music as well. And so the sound is a little unique. It's a little unique that we've been around for 40 years as well.
Yeah, I noticed that. You got the 40th anniversary coming up next year.
Well, it's been going on, right?
It's been going on. It's it's had its ups and downs and a little some hiatuses along the way, as you can imagine, over 40 years. But we've stayed together. We've reunited regularly, and over the last few years, we've just decided we wanted to play more, and have been playing out more so in the last few. And looking forward to the Voices gig this Saturday. We played at Toad's Place as our official reunion date earlier in the year.
Have you ever played at Voices before? What kind of venue what is it like to play there?
Yeah, Voices is the sanctuary of the Unitarian Church in Westport. I happen to actually be a member there, so I've played in the church many, many times as a contributing member to the music program there. It's a beautiful space, beautiful arched ceilings, wood and glass sides, and it's really super comfortable that people sit around tables, chairs at tables, cafe style. And it sounds fantastic. So, having played there many times, I'm really looking forward to the band playing there too.
Tell us about the band. Who's in it?
Well, we started on the campus of Yale University 40 years ago, almost to the day. I was thinking back.
There they are. That's a 70 shot if I've ever seen one.
That's us.
Yeah.
Okay. Originally, there were 4. We added the 5th on the left, our drummer. That's Paul Fargeorge. From left to right, Kim Oler on bass. That's me in the middle on guitar and vocals. Next to me is Oscar Hill on banjo, and Mike Platt is a fiddle player, no longer with us. On Saturday, he'll be substituted for by Kenny Kosek, a great fiddler from New York City. So we started on the campus of Yale University, and really, to tell you the truth, in the dorm rooms of Yale University.
Just jamming?
Just jamming.
Yeah.
And you can connect the dots to the time of historically speaking, that we were jamming in the dorm rooms and enjoying ourselves in various ways. And
Gotcha.
That kind of spilled out into some of the venues around Yale, the dining halls, the campuses, the courtyards and such. And then, again, now we're talking about 1975. This is the beginning of the baby boomers coming of age. And the kids are just everywhere. They're coming of age, specifically 18 years old. The drinking age is 18 years old.
Right.
And so there are just a ton of kids going out to nightclubs. And so consequently, there are a ton of nightclubs. And going back to New Haven in 1975, the great nightclubs included Toad's Place, which is still there.
Yeah.
And we were one of the first bands to play Toad's Place. So in addition to a whole bunch of other clubs in the area. So we were just thrilled, really, to have formed a band at college, all of us thinking we were getting ready to go into careers in law and investment banking. And instead, we're living our dreams as full-time working musicians. And once we established ourselves in around Yale and in New Haven clubs, we ventured out into the Connecticut area too, and one of the first places we came was Fairfield County. and specifically Westport, because there were some fabulous rooms going back to then, including places like Grassroots, which was a wonderful acoustic room, Players Tavern, a little bit bigger rock room in the Playhouse complex, and a place called the Tin Whistle. So we played all those places routinely, and we're really looking forward to hopefully reconnecting with our fan base here in Fairfield County on Saturday at Voices Cafe, when we hope people who will remember us from back in the day will come to see the show.
And there you guys are a little bit older there on the screen.
We're a little older there. Steve, we're 40 years older there.
Oh, come on.
So now when you started out and you were playing at Yale, and then you all graduated the same year, or?
Oscar was a year behind us. He's the baby.
The baby. But when you graduated, you went on tour, right? Or was that a summer thing?
It was a tour that happened a couple of years after we graduated.
Uh-huh.
We opened for Johnny Winter on his national tour around the country.
Pretty hot stuff.
Which was an amazing experience. Yeah. We played the best rock rooms in the country. Bottom Line, Paradise in New York, Paradise Theater in Boston, Agora in Cleveland. I mean, really top-notch clubs. It was an incredible experience, wonderful. And you know, Johnny was a legend, so it was great to be associated with that too.
But then, everyone decided to have a real life, or
At that point, shortly thereafter, we did kind of go our separate ways, although the split was always amicable. Mm-hmm. And as I say, we continue to reconnect on a multi-year basis to reunite, get back together again and play. Most of the time it was at Toad's Place, because that was kind of our home base.
Yeah.
So we just stayed connected over the years, continued to play, continued to love playing, and in recent years our enthusiasm for it has just amped up. I guess we feel that the special aspect of having been affiliated with like-minded musicians who love to play together, love the sound of the band, and for our audience who loves the sound of the band, to be continuing to do it, we just feel like we'd like to do it more. So that's what we're now planning to do.
You mentioned touring with Johnny. Who else have you played with on it?
Well, I personally have had a solo career myself.
Mm-hmm.
The band, I mean, I have to think back to other people we played opening for. I think we opened for Bonnie Raitt, believe it or not.
Wow.
On the campus of Yale. And you kind of stumped my memory on that one, Steve, going back 40 years. But
well, how about this one? What kind of musician
that you played alongside of, or?
Well, I mean, Toad's had all the great touring bands,
and people who weren't so
day.
well known, who were just coming up, who would pass through there.
Very much so. I mean, it was a place for not only national touring acts, but the best of the local bands as well. And you know, we were included in that group, along with some others. Just fantastic bands who started out their careers like we did, playing places like Toad's Place. The Arcadia Ballroom was another very, very prominent venue in New Haven, and Oxford Ale House, another one. Mm-hmm. So just a great place for bands to learn their craft as bands and become, you know, full-time musicians in many cases. And for me, it established my career
Were you
as a
the only
musician
one
myself.
who went into music full-time?
No, Kim, who's no longer on camera.
Uh-huh.
But the bass player is a full-time musician himself. Uh-huh. His focus is more on musical theater. Mm-hmm. He's written some wonderful shows, most of them for children, but some off-Broadway for adults as well. And myself are the two full-timers. Kenny, our guest fiddler, Kenny Kosek is also a full-time fiddler, mm-hmm. too.
How has the sound kind of changed over the years, or is it more or less the same from when you guys were playing at Yale?
It has a lot of the same elements, Steve, of that hybrid sound I was describing to you then. But we are trying to update our sound as we update our musical life together. So we're learning some new contemporary covers. For example, the band Mumford & Sons mm-hmm. has a similar kind of orchestration to us with banjo and bass and acoustic guitars. So we learned a Mumford & Sons song. we like the song that Philip Phillips, the American Idol, won for Home. So we've just recently covered that. We're trying to keep our sound contemporary with the other sounds that are happening today along our lines, you know. And we're adding our own new material, original material as well.
Where do you find inspiration for new material, and how did you get inspired back in the day when you were originally writing?
That is just a matter of magic, really.
Yeah.
It's where it happens and where it comes. And I teach songwriting as the few things I do as a professional musician, and I'd like to tell my students to just pay attention, because you can find your inspiration anywhere. I'll walk out of here today with an idea for a song, because this is inspiring to me.
You're going to write about us?
Do you write
I will, if you'd like, yeah.
Do you write the words and music, or are you?
I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also collaborate quite a bit with other composers who do maybe one or the other, so it might just depend on the particular collaboration as to how it would potentially roll out. But I myself can write both words and music, which I think is an asset, and I try to coach my kids to do that too, if they can.
Now, after Voices on Saturday, do you have any other gigs lined up this winter?
We're basically hoping to take the Voices show and start to book festivals and other rooms along the lines of Voices, coffee houses, small nightclubs, theaters and such. That's our plan, is to build on what's happened this year.
Good.
Kind of keep building in the process.
Perhaps we'll get you up to Ridgefield for the concerts in the park.
Well, that would be something I've definitely thought of.
Yeah, yeah.
So
you know Barbara Manners, I'm sure.
I know of Barbara. I don't never met her personally, but that would be perfect.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
fit
It would be a perfect fit.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for mentioning it, and maybe we can get to know Barbara. Yeah,
yes, from our voice to her ear.
Yes.
And those who are looking for tickets to the Voices Cafe, it's 10 Lines Plain Road in Westport, voicescafe.org. And you can email David at uuwestport.org. Is that right, for tickets?
That's all correct, and I very much appreciate you mentioning that.
8 p.m. Saturday night, the
8
Helium
p.m.
Brothers.
Saturday night. There are still some tickets available. We will be there, and we look forward to filling the room with some helium and to having a great time.
I do like that
Don't
band
get
name.
too high.
We'll try not to. Our goal is to make the audience high.
Right.
Good.
We're going to have the Helium Brothers play us out today. Thank you
This'll
so
be
much
fun.
for watching. Wishful Thinking is the name of the track. Andy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you both for having me on. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it very much.
Been fun.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Freight train, I'd be moving down the line. Wish I was a freight train, I'd be moving down the line. Polish up my engine and make it shine. I wish I was a freight train, I'd be moving down the line. Wish I had some cocaine, I'd be feeling so fine. Wish I had some cocaine, I'd be feeling so fine. But I'm working for pennies and I can't save a dime. I wish I had some cocaine, I'd be feeling so fine. Ooh, I'm trying to be the person who I think I am. I'm at a touch sometimes, but I'm doing the best I can. It takes too long when things go wrong and the sun drops out of sight. I made myself the sunshine and make things bright. I wish I knew a guru to ask him for a sign. Wish I knew a guru I could ask